Okay, we are live. Good morning or good evening. Okay, it is day 11 of the Kick Sugar Challenge. We just have a couple more days to go. To day 14. We've made it through halfway. We've made it through sort of the hardest, what we would say is the hardest point is day 3 and 4. And yeah, we are just so close to a home run. And it has been so good. It has been super good to connect with you guys. And I have just really loved hearing your stories and why you're doing this. And I've been encouraged by the whys that people have recently shared. Let me see if I can pull them up. But let's see. Yes, because the whys are a big part of why we're doing the challenge. That's sort of the core where we need to start from. And that's going to really motivate us and help us on a hard day. So I'll just read a couple of the answers that we had was, my why is to get my body back after quite a few years of indulgence of overeating, giving my cravings whatever they want, also trying to reset my body in hopes to have a baby. We've been trying for quite a while. I have lots of aches and pains, and I thought eliminating sugar and gluten and purging my body of certain things might help me in starting off on the right foot again. That's so exciting, and that's awesome. This is the challenge for you then. Another one is because I want to know how I feel without it and be able to build a healthier relationship with sugar, to be able to have small amounts of treats without overdoing it. Totally. Yes, I have been there. The other one, my why. I want to to be more knowledgeable about better alternative choices. The more informed I am to figure out easier it is to adapt my life, and I want to make healthy eating easier as possible for my kids and a great foundation of eating healthy so they can grow up with skills and the ability to easily make and enjoy healthy choices. So I just read off some of the whys that people shared in the Facebook group. Thanks so much for sharing that. That is awesome. Really love hearing those. And when I went down this route probably about 5 years ago, trying to kick sugar and feel better, it was hugely because I got to a point of just feeling sick all the time, and I was like, I am willing to try anything and just sort of reset. And sometimes we get to that place, and we don't even realize that we're there, like that we're so overtaken by sugar or overburdened or manipulated by it. And so it's just so good. It's totally a challenge, right? Because today we are eating sugar, maybe not even once a day, but every meal. And so even if this challenge comes and you learn how to eat, go to fruit first and have a strong breakfast and, eliminate sugar from every day or even every meal, like there's going to be wins depending on who you are, right? Okay, so today we're going to chat about the plan after the challenge, because a lot of people say, like, I can do this when I know, like, I'm going to be really strict with myself. I'm not going to eat any sugar for this amount of time, and that really stops them. But when they say sort of like, okay, I can have a little bit, like that's sort of where they struggle, because they just keep going and going and they don't know where to stop. And I can see that for sure. That is a totally valid point, and I have been there too. And just like I sent like a ton of emails before this challenge sent and throughout the challenge, but I mostly mean before, because we were preparing to start the challenge, and I wanted that that foundation or that grounding where you were ready to jump into it, right? Like I was like, please get food that you can replace in your house so you can succeed at the challenge. And so that's the same thing that I want to talk about today. So like when the challenge is done in 3 days, or 4 days, no, 3 days, what's the plan? Where are we going? And I don't think that we need to leave that to the last day, because I think that our desire to have a treat after we're done the challenge might overtake us, and that's okay. I mean, you did an amazing job, but how can we prepare for that? So what we're gonna do, well, I'm actually gonna give you the tools to go forward and make a plan for yourself, and that's sort of what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to just sort of give some insight, and then I want you guys to make a plan and come from where you're at, and you know yourself best. So so after this is done, I want you to go back and look at the plan that we've been following, and that's in the bottom of all the emails in the PS section. You can look at it there. I don't expect you to have no sugar the rest of your life. Like, I don't think that that's really sustainable, and I don't really just believe in restraining ourselves. I am a huge advocate for focusing on replacement and what can we put there instead. And like this whole time I've been like, okay, let's focus on breakfast, let's focus on water. What other snacks can you put in your diet, right? And so that's a big thing that I want to say is, I don't want to say, I have to restrict that, sorry, I can't eat this, I can't eat that. And being overwhelmed by you can't have all these things, but instead say like, oh my goodness, I want to fill my plate with this. I want to have a large amount of broccoli today and I'm excited about it. Or I am going to make some like chocolate date balls and I'm so excited about it, rather than be like, I can't have chocolate cake today. Like, I want to focus on those positives, and I want you to find things that you're excited about eating, because this whole challenge has been 14 days, but I want to help you shift your lifestyle and shift sort of into a spot where it's sustainable. And that's why chocolate date balls, Rosie. Yes, there's a recipe on my blog or in the email with the snacks. It's there. Let me see what I was saying. Yeah, so how can we make this sustainable? How can we replace it? How can we get excited about those foods? That is why I got you to throw sugar out of your house. And if you haven't done it yet, you need to go through your house. Those things that are in your office, your car, throw them out, give them away. That is a huge thing, right? Like, because we want the things in our house and in our environment that we want to eat and consume and get excited about, right? It's just like how I said in I think it was the first live, how we are like the 5 people around us. We sort of become like them. It's the same with food choices, and it's also like what food is around us, right? Like, just how people are around us, we become those people. Like, what food is around us? What food are we surrounding ourselves with and then consuming, right? And to bring it back to a very simple point, like, when I think about this, it can become overwhelming quickly, and I don't want it to be. But think about, is this gonna power my body, or is this gonna make my body work really hard to process these foods and really just like use up my stores of the things that I have been building to make my body stronger? Does that make sense? So am I going to enhance, restore, empower my body, energize it with this food, or is it going to make me feel low? And is it going to use up weaken my immune system and use up those stores of nutrients that I've been saving? Okay, so that's the really simple way to look at it when you're questioning. Always bring it sort of back to that. It's a really basic way to look at it. So once again, when we're focusing on that plan, we got to focus on our why. We have to like make a poster, do something, and be excited about it. Because that's super important for those hard days, right? I'm gonna talk again about, we have that sugar robot that's just gonna come in and be like, you had one treat, you can have another one, right? And you need to remind yourself of your why, or else, you know, you're gonna be frustrated and disappointed again and again and again. So I believe that you can do this. Okay. I am actually not gonna go into all the different types of sugars because there is so many. I'm not gonna break them down. I'm gonna send you an article, which is in the email that I sent out this morning, or just a sort of a blog post, and she breaks a bunch of the common ones down, and you can read about it. And I want this to be a huge, like when I'm coaching, one of the biggest things is like, I can empower you, and I want to put confidence in you and inspire you and cheer you on, but you are gonna have to do a little bit of the hard work. So you need to read the blog post and decide, like, for yourself, which sugars you're okay with and which ones you're not, which ones you want to replace. Yeah. Okay. What I am going to say is, I would encourage you to cut out as much as possible anything that they add white sugar and processed sugars to, anything that is not nutrient dense, that is not made of whole foods. So, I mean, and that's, there's a lot of foods out there like that, but just to think about that is like, syrups and jams often, cookies, like baked goods. And often you can make your own with better wholesome ingredients, but when we're buying it from the grocery store, often it's the fast, quick, convenient version. And that's also because it's not really gonna, often it can be cheap, and they've made it cheap because it's sweetened with corn syrup or white sugar, which has no nutrients in it. So think about this, like there's certain like sugars that are gonna have a little bit more minerals and vitamins. Not greatly, like they're still gonna influence your blood sugar levels, but there's a few that have more nutrients in it than zero. And white sugar and corn syrup have zero, okay? They are empty calories, so you're eating them and they're not doing anything for you at all. There's no nutritional value, okay? So added sugars, you know, in candy bars or cakes or things like that, I am encouraging you to ditch them. Get corn syrup, white sugar for sure out of your house, and then you guys can choose about some other sugars, okay? The thing is that these foods are processed, so they're broken down. Things are extracted from them, like the minerals and the vitamins. They're refined, and so they're not in their best state anymore, not in the state that our body can easily break down, not sort of in the state that they were created for us to be eaten in. And so that's really why I'm a huge advocate in focusing on the whole foods, right? Just try and fill your, like, what I'm trying to say is fill your plate with whole foods. Focus on, let's eat a big bowl of salad today, you know, and get excited about that. Because if our mind is filled with what can we focus on, then if there's something, a treat that comes, you know, every once in a while, I'm saying like, you know, not every meal, that's okay, because you have been filling your body with nutrient-dense, good food that's going to be the foundation for you to thrive from. Does that make sense? Let me know. Okay. Another thing to say is that, did I write this on there? Oh yeah, I wrote it on there. Okay. Awesome. Yay, thumbs up. Okay, so when you're making these decisions, what's the nutritional content in this? AKA, is this benefiting me? Like I said before, is it going to help me or is it not going to help me? Let's look at the ingredient list. Do you understand what the ingredients are? Do you recognize them? Let's focus on the food products with fewer ingredients in them, because usually fewer means less random added things that aren't going to support us. And you can usually, on shorter lists, you can understand all the ingredients. Okay. Focus on foods that have fiber. So this is going to support your blood sugar levels, not going up and down. It takes your body longer to process them, and it's a good thing because it's giving you more sustained energy. So foods with fiber would be anything with grains, vegetables, fruit, legumes, nuts, and seeds. So animal products don't have any fiber in them, which is interesting to think about. So you need to increase the also processed foods, like if we're talking about junk food or, something in the candy aisle, that doesn't have any fiber either. So we really want to focus on those fibrous foods to support our blood sugar levels and support our supporting our energy. Yes. So these are things that I have written in the email already, so you do have the list for this. Okay. So like what I said before, it's common for us to not only eat sugary foods every day, but every meal. So if maybe your plan could be, I am choosing to not have sugar every single meal, if that's where you're at right now. Or I'm focusing on filling my plate with more fibrous foods. You can totally do that, okay? So, and then what are things, like I've been helping you replace them so far, and how can you continue to replace foods like ketchup, or I had said fish sauce last time, or maybe white sugar? How can we replace those? How can we make it easier for ourselves? Can we get plain, unsweetened yogurt and add fruit into it ourselves instead of getting the sugary one? Okay. And a big one, I think that there's these foods that we often just put sugar onto, like oatmeal or pancakes. And for me, I found that if I replace those syrups or whatever we put on it, just with almond butter and fruit, I love it like that. And it doesn't always have to be like that, but that is a huge win to just even shift that. Okay, and then the other one to help you move forward is, if you really like sweetness, you don't have to get rid of it, but let's try and transition those taste buds, which we have been trying to do over this time. So how can we slowly lower what we are eating and lessen it? Sorry, does that make sense? How can we sort of wean ourselves off of it and, try and choose honey or maple syrup? Those are ones that I do have in my house and I do use pretty frequently. I would say they can be highly processed, honey and maple syrup. I'll just quickly say this. But if you can get raw honey, that is very nutrient dense and the best source for you. It's still gonna spike your blood sugar levels, but I choose to eat a lot of raw honey because it's not heated, which means there's still lots of nutrients in it. The only thing is it can be a little bit more expensive. And same with maple syrup. It can have more minerals in it, but it also spikes your blood sugar levels. So it's not like, oh, let's have maple syrup because it's got a lot of nutrients in it or minerals, because it's the sugar spike that you're going to get from maple syrup is still bigger, but it's a little bit more nutritious for you than white sugar, if that makes sense. But I would like to say here, I am not encouraging you to switch out all your sugary sources for honey and maple syrup. I am encouraging you to eat a good breakfast, so that when you are craving, you go for fruit first, and then you can have a treat, that includes maybe some good fibers instead of some refined like white flour, to choose and make your own treats, you know, to support your system. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Rosie said, date cashew milk saved your life. Yes, did you make that yourself? That sounds super yummy. Okay, so recap. You're gonna go back, do your plan, like look at the plan, say why. What's my why? Why? How can I keep going through the hard moments? What's gonna sustain me through this? And I'm gonna go back to what we talked about in the first live again. And guys, when we make a goal, when we make a plan, we're not gonna accomplish it the first day. When we make a New Year's resolution and we're done halfway through February, that's so disappointing because you have 12 whole months to perfect it. You have 12 whole months to make it your goal. And when you fall down, you need to stand right back up and keep going, because that's the same as if we're learning how to swim. If we're trying to figure out a new skill or something, this is a skill. This is a skill to live without sugar. It's a total lifestyle change, and it's not common. And it's not easy. And so this is going to be hard, but I am doing it, and it has been life-changing and empowering just because of how I feel every day, the energy I have, the clarity I have. Okay, so it's so worth it, and it takes time to figure out how can we learn how to swim? How can we learn the strokes? We have to do it again and again. And if, you know, like we feel like, for the swimming analogy, if they feel like they're drowning or they need to stand up, or, you know, they're not totally getting it, you just try again tomorrow. You go back to the pool, okay? So that's what I want to remind you of. Like, if this is your goal this year, you've got 12 months, okay? And onward. I'm always getting better every year, because I told you it's about 5 years that I have been working towards this. So yeah, okay. Let's see my notes here. What else I wanted to share with you guys today? Okay, like I said earlier, how can we focus on the things that we want to eat? I was thinking about it as in, like, let's not see how far we can get to the edge before falling off, as in, let's not see how many sweet treats we can have before, like, our body is sick. Let's see how we can maintain and encourage and empower and eat good things to feel super well, to not even come close to falling over that edge and feeling sick all the time, right? And I know a lot of us feel like we're really close to that edge, and that's why I want to help you. So this is part of it, right? And that's the step that I want you to take. I want you to focus on, okay, what's going to make me feel super good today, rather than, okay, I'm not going to have this or this or this today, but instead say, what's going to make me feel good today, okay? So my plan, I told you I was going to share about this, and this was sort of an informal plan, but this is just sort of where we're at now, is I totally got rid of sugars out of my house. I haven't had them in there for a very, very long time, years. I have had honey in there. I've had maple syrup, and those are ones that I do use. And I do sweeten my hot drinks with those daily. And I do replace, like, we don't buy any sugary treats. So pretty much when we're in the grocery store, we do look at the ingredient list. Like, that's what we look at on packages. And if we see, like, sugar's really, like, top of the list, or, like, majority of a food, we choose not to buy it. We try and find something else. And so we're trying not to bring sugar into the house at all. And so if you can do that, like, some people have roommates, but I encourage you, if you can, just don't bring it into the house, because you know what? Like, we are tempted humans, and, like, I don't want to teach you something that you just, like, let's just restrict all the time, because the thing is like, it's addictive. We do like it. It is giving us those bursts of good feelings when we eat it. And I'm not saying, like, I'm going to teach you how to restrict, like, see cinnamon buns all the time and not have them. I am saying, don't focus on them. Like, don't let them be in your reach. Like, this is just a huge leapfrog, I can say, and just saying like, jump ahead of that. Let's not try and just restrict or restrain, but let's just focus on the things that we can eat, okay? And so then when we do go out, and when we do, go to a special brunch, with our friends, and we have a cinnamon bun, that's okay, because all week we've been filling our diet with very wholesome foods that have been powering our body, And so if we do have something that's maybe less like empty calories, that maybe doesn't have much nutritional benefits for you, it's okay, I'm not saying every Saturday go to a brunch and have cinnamon buns, but I'm saying fill your plate with things that are gonna make you strong. Okay, back to my plan. So I focus on having a good breakfast, and this really helps me stabilize blood sugar levels, gives me energy for the rest of the day. And I'd say you do have to have it within about an hour-ish, an hour and a half, 45 minutes of waking up. That's what I encourage you to do. I bring snacks everywhere. If you know me, I have snacks, and I always have snacks. So that's because I've gotten to so many situations where you end up at some tiny grocery store that only has foods that are not gonna give you energy when you're hungry, or things to help you. So, things you could bring are a boiled egg, crackers and cheese, find some wholesome granola bars. I really like the made good ones, or the RX ones are with dates. I like those ones too. Okay, I drink lots of water, and this is so that I don't become dehydrated, because often when you're dehydrated, you go for sugar first. I reach for sugar when I can, so we eat a lot of fruit in our house. Usually Koa and I will have a pear and a banana, as an afternoon snack. And then I make any sweet treat that we have, I make it from nutrient-dense ingredients. And so you can look on my blog if you want ideas, but I try and put stuff in there that's gonna support your body and enhance your body. Okay, so Rosie, why after an hour after you eat? Okay, so we're fasting overnight, and at that point your body is sort of detoxing, your liver's working to get things out of the body. I encourage you to drink water to just help flush it out, but also your stomach is ready, has all the stomach juices ready to digest stuff and to break it down. And so it's going to be that sort of right when you wake up, it's ready to go. It's ready to kickstart your metabolism. It's ready to break foods down and give you energy for the day. So you have the most amount of stomach juices at that point. And so you do want to have something wholesome that rather than quick sugars that are just going to spike your blood sugar levels. Okay. Yes. Okay. Then back to my plan. The last thing I'd say is when I go out to a special occasion, or maybe I'm at a potluck at church or something like that, I do have a sweet treat every once in a while. And that's okay, because like I said, I've filled my plate all week with good things, and so I don't feel bad about it. I don't feel shame. I don't feel frustration. I don't, and often it's come to the point though where I'm oh, I feel that burst of sugar that I just had, and sometimes to help me bring my blood sugar levels down, I need to go for a walk because I've had that. And so you really sort of come to this point where you feel it in your body, and you don't always want it. Okay. Yes, but it does take time, I would say. Okay, so that's the plan. I'm encouraging you to make the plan. I think that you're capable, and that I think that you can. So I want you to look over the plan and say okay, can I focus on continuing to have a good breakfast. And then let's focus on the water. You know, which ones are you going to continue to focus on? And maybe not having any sugar at all. I think we don't need to continue that one. If you feel like you need to continue it a little bit longer, that's okay. But I want you to read that blog and sort of see like, okay, what sugar alternatives could I eat? What sweet treats could I have instead? Reaching for fruit sugar, for fruit first. Yes. If you feel like there's still lots going on in your body and you're like, I really need to detox further, I really need to, there's something else going on, or I just feel so lost with the plan, or you feel very, very overwhelmed, I can help you with that. Like that is what I'm trained to do, is to make people plans. And so the reason that I'm not setting a plan in place as we finish the challenge and that I want you to is because you know yourself best. And for me, I don't want to do a plan that fits everyone, okay? So I would want to look at your 11 body systems, at the symptomatologies that I see that is arising, and sort of be like, these are the suggestions I can give you. These are the things that I want you to focus on. And I can help you make that plan, and it would be a meal plan and a little bit of insight into lifestyle and exercise and stress and sleep and suggestions in regards to all of those things. It's actually like a 5-page plan that I help you work through, and it's for 6 weeks. So just a little info there. That is something that I can do, and if you're interested, you can book a free call with me and sort of see if we're the right fit for each other. If you want to ask me other questions, and I am not going to sign up to work with you unless I feel like I have something to offer you. And so if you feel like you just want to see if we're the right fit, you can do that call. And if not, I can refer you or suggest you to somebody else. Okay, so that's my chat about that. Any other questions on here? Love to know. Have you guys been able to have a good breakfast, and has that helped you at all? Have you noticed? Love to know that. I know that could be hard for some people, but that really supports you first thing in the morning. There's a lot of just different studies, and maybe I can find some to share with you about why it's good to eat first thing in the morning. Okay, so the homework assignment is going to be emailed to you. It's also in the Facebook group. Getting tired of oatmeal, Rosie? Yes. Why don't you try a smoothie? Smoothies are really, really yummy. Or you could try, I have a pancake recipe. You can try pancakes with almond butter and fruit. Yes, okay. So the homework assignment emailed out to you. It's in the Facebook group. So look over the plan. There's a couple questions to ask yourself, how you want to shift it. Yeah. And then assignment 2 for today is see where your taste buds are at. So I'm saying have a dark piece of chocolate. I know you haven't had that in a while, but I'm saying buy yourself a chocolate bar that's like 80 to 85% dark or darker. And I want you to take one piece, put it on your tongue and let it melt and sort of see where your taste buds are at. Do you taste fruity? Is it acidic? Is it sweet? I know a lot of people don't like dark chocolate, but sometimes when we take sugar out and then we try dark chocolate, it's like, and then we go back to milk chocolate. We can't go back to milk chocolate because the dark chocolate is just so rich and amazing. So try it out. I'm encouraging you to do that this week or today, or maybe not today because it's like late, but yeah. Okay, and the last one is remind yourself of your why. Say it aloud. And yes, so thank you guys so much for joining me. This has been super fun, super encouraging for me too. And yeah, it just, you know, spurs inside of me the reasons and like the need, like encourages me of my why, but it also shows me the need and the how so many people are craving this and like craving to get off of sugar and realizing how it's hurting their bodies. So yeah, I hope that these tips are helpful and that you're not feeling too overwhelmed, but yeah, really go back to the basics. And it takes time, but you guys are doing awesome. So okay, we will see you on Friday night for our last live. Okay, bye.